Hey, it's Garrett Biz. Hope you're having an awesome day today. So I'm getting really excited. Only a couple more days until my Principles of Success lecture over at the Craven Community College, sponsored by the Small Business Center. If you haven't signed up yet, be sure to register so you can save your seat. One of the things I'll be talking about on Tuesday night, the 24th, is the power of feedback. So one principle that many people use in their life to create greater success or to make greater strides towards their goals and the achievements that they would like is feedback. So we all get feedback in our life. We get feedback from every direction on everything that we're engaged in. But people that learn to respect and understand and appreciate that feedback and use that feedback to propel them towards their goals, as opposed to becoming an obstacle towards their goals, they achieve much greater success with much less effort. So the theme for the night is how to get from where you are to where you want to be in any area of your life that you're currently struggling or currently working on. And when we discuss feedback, you're going to see how wonderful of a tool this is that you can use to your advantage. So feedback, we get feedback from different places. There's a couple different kinds of feedback. We get positive feedback and we get negative feedback. So positive feedback are things that you see or that manifest in your life that are indications that you're doing things well, that you're doing things correctly, or that you're doing the right things in that area. If you're getting A's and you're in college, then that's good feedback that you have the right study habits, that you are spending the right amount of time in your studies, and that you're focusing on the right things. If you are at a weight that you like, or you feel as healthy as you would like, well, that's feedback that your exercise routine and your diet and everything that you're doing is going well for you. A lot of times we get negative feedback, and negative feedback can be just as powerful and uplifting and empowering as negative feedback or as positive feedback if we use it correctly. So negative feedback are things like, high balances on your credit cards would be feedback that maybe something in your finances is not going well. Negative feedback would be the way that people treat you, or as things, the way that people show up, or how others interact with you in your life. That might be some negative feedback if it's not positive. The other feedback that we might have is internal feedback, so the way that we feel about things. If we keep going to the same job every day and we loathe the experience, and we don't like to, we don't hop out of bed every morning to go and engage in our profession, well, that's feedback. That's negative feedback, but it's feedback, and it can be just as empowering as an indication of where we should address some time and energy, and where there might be some concerns that we'd like to focus on and overcome. But feedback, when we realize how powerful it can be, no matter whether it's positive or negative, we can use it to refine our efforts, to engage our energy in the things that we need to do to get to those goals, or to get to that place that we're trying to get to in life. So when we have that negative feedback, if somebody continuously tells us something, if we continuously feel bad, if we're continuously broke and we feel like we're running out of money at the end of every month, or we're continuously getting F's on our report cards, if we understand and appreciate that feedback for what it is, it's just feedback. It's not an indication of who you are. It's not an indication of what you're capable of. It's simply feedback. And when we can use that feedback to our advantage, then we can make sure it propels us and can drive us to our destination. A lot of times we'll get negative feedback, and if we ignore that negative feedback, well, then we're not going to have anything different occurring in our life. If we ignore the F's that we get and we don't make any changes, well, we're going to continue to get F's, and we're going to continue to experience the same struggles with our academics. If we continue to feel bad and we don't do anything, we don't change anything about the way that we're eating, if we don't change our exercise habits or exercise routines, or change some of our other habits like our sleep habits, then we're going to continue to feel bad and things won't change. We can also take that feedback that we're not feeling good and take it as a great indication that, hey, there's an opportunity here that I can change something and I can make a big difference in my life. Other times we'll get feedback and we'll get angry at the feedback. Like the feedback is somehow what is holding us back, or that obstacle. If we continue to step on the scale in the morning and we're not getting the feedback that we want, we don't get angry at the scale, because the scale is just giving us an indication of some kind of feedback. Sometimes I think of the feedback that we get when we're driving in a car. So a little bit lighter example, we're driving in a car and we look down at our speedometer, and it gives us feedback. It tells us how fast we're going. If we're going a little bit too fast, we don't get angry at the speedometer that we're going too fast. We take our foot off the gas a little bit, or we at least look around to make sure that there's no traffic or indication that maybe a cop might find us going too fast. But it's not the speedometer's fault that we're going too fast. It's simply feedback. Same thing with the scale. It's not the scale's fault that we don't like the number that's on it, or maybe we do like the number that's on it. It's just feedback. It depends on the way that we take it. Another thing, feedback if we're driving in a car and we start to hear those rumble strips because we've deviated out of our lane, well, that's just a good indication that, hey, maybe we need to make a course correction and get back to the center of the lane so we're not continuing to drive down the shoulder. Once again, those rumble strips on the side, it was just a little bit of feedback to help us make a small course correction to get back to where we needed to be so we could continue safely. So we'll talk a lot about feedback on the 24th, and I'll show you different ways that you can look for and then respond to feedback to make positive changes in your life and to actually propel you to where you want to go, as opposed to continuing to seem like or feel like an obstacle that's preventing you from the success that you deserve and the success that you're striving for. So I look forward to seeing you on the 24th. Again, if you haven't registered yet, please go ahead and register to save your seat, and we'll share this. We'll talk about feedback. We'll talk about so many other awesome things on the 24th. I look forward to seeing you.